what I think of this song. There's a there's a refrain which most of which I couldn't possibly sing, but the middle bit is they don't understand it. They just find on Twitter. It's um, it's a disturbing song. The release and the proliferation of this Heil Hitler by Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. And despite its removal from most streaming platforms, it is overtly anti Semitic and glorifies Nazism. And it remains viewable on Twitter, on Elon Musk's organ, where it has accumulated millions of views. And it's not merely about a disgraced artist seeking attention, but about the limits of free speech, the responsibilities of tech platforms, and the corrosive effects of performative hate masquerading as art. It's a song which was released independently on May the 8th, and it's both. Well, I was going to say it's musically unremarkable. The majority is, but there's a very strident and a very impressive beat, and the opening chords are lovely with a sort of marching band thing, but it's morally abhorrent. And the track features this chanting, which I can't repeat, and ends with a lengthy excerpt from an actual Hitler speech. And the accompanying visuals are equally inflammatory. Rows of black men in animal skins standing in militaristic formation, suggestive of Nazi activity. And the artwork mimics a swastika. I might add, what is the artistic intention here? There is none. This isn't subversion. This is spectacle. This is a revival. Yet Ye's defenders claim it's theatrical. It's a criticism of cancel culture or an attempt to reclaim a taboo. That is sophistry. The lyrics do not criticize fascism, they emulate it. And the song is not satirical, it's celebratory. And no amount of avant-garde pretense can explain away lines like, so I became a Nazi. Yeah, I'm the villain. There's another word in there which I don't intend to repeat. Virtually every major platform, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Meta, and TikTok, has scrambled to remove the song, and rightly so. The Anti-Defamation League, the American Jewish Committee, the civil rights organizations, they've all condemned it unequivocally. And yet, Elon Musk's Twitter has allowed the song to remain live, where it has garnered millions of views and lucrative traffic. And Musk, a man who's previously amplified anti-Semitic tropes and aligned himself with the far-right AfD in Germany, has defended his platform under the absolutist banner of free speech. But free speech is not the same as consequence-free speech, and freedom of speech is not freedom from curation, especially when the speech in question glorifies the architect of the Holocaust. And the divergent treatment of Ye's song between the US and Europe exposes a profound legal and cultural chasm. In Germany, the public use of Nazi symbols and slogans, swastikas, Hitler salutes, SS runes, is illegal under Section 86A of the Criminal Code. Even viewing Ye's post is blocked unless one uses a VPN. In the United States, however, the First Amendment protects virtually all speech, even the most vile, and Holocaust denial, racial slurs, and incitement by insinuation are not criminal acts. And Ye knows this. He exploits American liberties to propagate European hatred. What's most chilling here is not Ye's descent into extremism. He's long since fallen. What matters is that in the digital economy, provocation is monetizable and attention is currency. Ye is attempting to transform moral repugnance into commercial visibility. And the tech platforms, especially Twitter, enable this conversation. Their algorithms are engineered not for truth or decency, but for engagement. Ye's song doesn't challenge the system. It's a grotesque expression of the system. And this isn't a fringe issue. It's emblematic of a wider collapse of moral architecture in the online space. When hate speech is platformed under the guise of neutrality, neutrality itself becomes complicity. So should this song be banned? Yes, but not as an act of censorship, but as a reaffirmation of civilization. freedom of expression has its limits when it directly invokes genocidal ideology and glorifies a regime responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and millions of others. Kanye West, once a boundary-pushing artist, now trades in boundaries broken for shock alone. What remains is not creative rebellion, but a shrill, hateful cry for relevance. We must not look away. Neither must we amplify. The fight against anti-Semitism, against racism and fascist nostalgia is not merely legal or commercial, it is moral. And that, I think, is how we should meet the challenge with the clarity that it demands. I think we should be quite firm in our rejection of Kanye West and what he represents. I can remember when I first came across Kanye West, and I was teaching in a school, and one of the students was a great fan, and so I listened to some of his music, and I thought it was very interesting. And from there, I then went on and discovered far more about drill, and I've been a great defender of drill as a result, because I think it's important that there's a distinction made between the violence for the sake of art and the violent language in art and the actual promotion of violence or the glorification of violence. There's a difference. And if you get too censorious, then actually the very principles that underpin Shakespearean tragedy are themselves exposed as morally corrupt. That cannot be the case. But in this particular case, I think there is moral corruption, because I don't see in this song that there's anything in it that is satirical or that is thoughtful. It is simply a parade of nastiness. And it does so under quite a catchy... There are moments of the song which are quite catchy. And that, I think, is the most pernicious part of this promotion. And I think Elon Musk's Twitter is exposed. And it also gives ammunition to the online safety regulations, which I think are so abhorrent. So on so many levels, this is an appalling piece of music.